Okay, so continuing on with sales strategy. So the first area you're going to look at is account targeting. And so you're looking at classification. So is this going to be a key account versus is this going to be a regular account? So for example, if it's a key account would be an account that makes up a large portion of a firm's business. So the example I always use is if you think about Procter and Gamble and Walmart. Walmart is going to be a key account for Procter and Gamble. That's going to make up a large portion of their business. The other type might be a regular account. So still a good profitable account, but they don't necessarily make up as much of your business. So you're going to treat these accounts a little bit differently, and that's going to go into these other areas as well. With a key account, you're probably going to have a team that works with that account. Where with a regular account, you may have a salesperson that's part of their portfolio of business. Sometimes, and oftentimes, especially with Walmart, you're going to have multiple salespeople that directly work just with Walmart. Walmart is their only account. I have a former student that works for Kimberly Clark, and she works in key accounts, and she has one customer, and that's Walgreens. So making those kind of decisions, how am I going to classify these different customers? Then with each type of classification, and I should go back and actually say with a regular account, you can actually classify that even further by profitability or by size. And then you could have large accounts, medium, small. There are a lot of different ways that you can do that, but just realizing that you need to classify how your account so that then you can actually decide and make the rest of these decisions. So again, based on your classification, what type of relationship are you going to have with the account? So is it going to be partnering, which it might be with a key account? Is it going to be more relational, which would be your traditional professional selling? Or is it going to be more transactional in nature? So it could be transactional in nature if it's an account you do business with occasionally. So you don't need as much, or that account doesn't need as much touch, if you want to say. So it doesn't need as much attention, or it should not receive as much attention from the salesperson, because that's not where your profitability lies. It lies in the other accounts. So what you don't want to do is have your salespeople wasting their time on an account that's not going to grow much in size, doesn't have, a projected growth, that's going to stay pretty similar, and maybe they only purchase once a year. Well, you still want to maintain a relationship with them, but not the same as a much more profitable customer that has a lot of projected growth. So then talking about selling, what selling approach per relationship strategy? So you want to develop these efficient and effective strategies for really task management. And so that relates to what I was just saying about what's my selling approach. Well, that depends on the relationship. So if it's transactional, I'm going to call them occasionally. I probably am not going to meet with them. It's going to be more of, just a phone, email type relationship. With my profitable accounts, I'm going to be in front of them. I'm going to set a strategy. Okay, every so much, I'm going to visit these accounts, see if there's anything they need. blah, blah, blah. Key accounts, I am going to probably see them, be on the phone with them weekly, be on the phone maybe daily, emails definitely probably daily. So what's that relationship in terms of selling going to look like? And then you have sales channels. So how are you going to conduct your selling? So your options include the following. So you can think of internet, industrial distributors, independent reps, team selling, telemarketing, trade shows, and I'll go through each of these quickly. So the internet, really you're going to use this strategically to increase your reach. Getting information about customers is key. Helping you service your existing customers. Think about social selling or selling online or through a social media platform. LinkedIn is really the key, the key social media platform I think of and that is used in really business to business selling. So next you have industrial distributors. So they have their own sales force. Representation wise, they may represent one manufacturer, several non-competing or competing manufacturers. So the big difference between an industrial distributor and an industrial representative is that an industrial distributor takes the title to the goods and will carry inventory. So they take those goods and essentially own them, and they're carrying inventory. So you can click on this example, Fastenal. One that might make a little more sense is that a lot of times alcohol, so like beer, is sold through a distributor. So like Budweiser, let's say, may have local distributors that actually hold the product. They buy the title to the goods, so they purchase the products, they keep it in their inventory, and then the industrial distributor will go out and form relationships with local businesses. So that might be done in areas where maybe it doesn't make sense for Budweiser to have a rep there. Maybe it's a smaller area. So it doesn't mean that Budweiser doesn't still have sales reps. It just might mean that in a certain area, they might use a distributor. So I've said before I lived in Illinois. That's a whole nother case. Because of laws that came out after Prohibition, no alcohol company can sell directly to like a restaurant, a bar, a grocery store, any kind of retail place. And they have to use a distributor. In that case, let's say brewery has sales reps and they work in conjunction with the industrial distributor, because while the sales rep for the brewery is promoting their products, they can't actually bring them the inventory and sell them the product, the physical purchase. They can't do that. But then they can direct them or connect them to the industrial distributor. So a lot of times industrial distributors work hand in hand with the salesperson from whatever company it may be. So another type of sales channel, sales channel would be an independent or manufacturer's rep. So this is really outsourcing of the selling effort. So in this situation, you want people that sell complementary products. They're generally paid for performance. The big difference is they do not take the title to the goods and they do not carry inventory. Essentially, you're hiring or outsourcing your sales effort. So an example of this, when I worked for the regional grocery store company, Brookshire's, which is not in Oklahoma, but it's Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and some other states. Anyway, my job in marketing was coordinating all of the in-store demonstrations. And so I would work with different companies on them wanting to promote their product in store and what we could do and blah, blah, blah. So one rep that came to me was representing Baby Bell cheese. So when Baby Bell cheese came out, so he was an independent rep, and what he did was he carried a portfolio of brands, and he had the relationship with the different people at grocery stores, so people like myself and buyers, to get into the grocery store where Baby Bell was starting out and they did not have that information or relationships or the resources to really put all of that in place yet. So then you have a manufacturer independent rep that represents your brands, will get orders for you, but then the actual company is going to fulfill the order and provide the inventory. And I have another example linked there. Why one versus the other? It depends on the volume. So as your volume increases, then it's going to be more cost efficient to have a your own sales force. So when you're first starting out, it makes more sense to have an independent rep until you get to a certain point where it's more cost efficient to have your own sales force. Team selling, I mentioned key account management. So this is what a team might look like. Your core team, and then your extended team. The salesperson's going to coordinate the team's selling efforts, but you may need to bring in individuals from different parts of the company. When does that happen? More likely for very complex products and services. So think like tech, software. You need a lot of information. So you may need someone who is really an expert in an area. There are many people involved in the buying decision. So think about the buying center, who's involved. And it's a big sell for the selling firm, so it's probably a key account. Telemarketing, I'm not going to go through this. I think you know what that is. And then trade shows. So here are a couple of pictures to illustrate what the trade shows are. Why do they use them? You can read through those. And then I have an example linked. So I'm not going through the sales channels that I think that you were probably already familiar with and that you can just go through the link yourself. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is your organizational strategies assignment. So for this module, there is not a quiz. You have an assignment for your class activity, and I will talk about that in a third video.